Now 11 people from yesterday's Iranian ballistic missile attack. Reports say a body was just recovered from the rubble of the building collapse in Bat Yam. It is a new level of chaos and tragedy here in Israel as citizens brace for what could come next. I'm Shosh Bajosian. It is 10 a.m. in New York and 5 p.m. here in Israel. Let's get into all the major headlines you need to know about the ongoing brutal war. Just 20 minutes ago, Israel escaped another Iranian ballistic missile barrage with no injuries or direct hits reported. We begin this hour's headlines with the latest attacks Iran launched on civilians here in Israel, with multiple areas dealing with direct hits from ballistic missile attacks that were fired at Israel and two different ballistic missile barrages. Significant damage can be seen in multiple areas in the country. Skies lit up from north to central parts of Israel, with massive explosions and booms overheard from all areas of the country. In total, the IDF said 70 ballistic missiles were fired into Israeli territory just the other day. Israel also worked to intercept dozens of UAVs that crossed into the Dead Sea and Jordan Valley. We first want to show you the horrific and devastating videos that are emerging from the direct impact sites, including Bat Yam, that's on your screen right now. We are learning a total of 11 people were killed last night, including 7 of them who were killed at this Bat Yam residential building, including 2 children. The building also suffered a partial collapse. The IDF is saying everyone who survived the attack in this building were all in protected shelters at the time of the attack. 2 residents are still unaccounted for at this time. We know Netanyahu, Herzog, and Ben-Gvir all came to the site to see it, vowing Iran will not be allowed to attack Israeli civilians. All of this today as Iran continues to get pummeled by Israeli attacks, targeting critical infrastructure that could start to cripple the regime in a matter of days, according to officials. And after last night's devastating Iranian attack on Israel, the IDF just issued an unprecedented warning to civilians in Iran that if they are anywhere near military weapons production factories or institutions, either now or in the future, to leave the areas as they could be in immediate danger. Joining us now to discuss all of this and the developments happening specifically in Iran is Beni Sabti, Iran expert, INSS. Thanks so much for joining and being with us today.
Thank you.
So tell us, what do you expect for the next attack from Iran to look like? There has been a minimal attack that we just experienced in Israel. There weren't a lot of ballistic missiles that came over. There weren't any direct hits and injuries, thankfully. But what's the maximum Iran would be willing to send over to Israel?
Actually, we can compare the Israeli activity to Iranian activity. The Iranian activity is kind of, as we say, more of the same. They have the same rockets or missiles. They can launch to us about 50 or 70 missiles every time. They have also their limitations. And one important thing is that they have only around 2,000 missiles. And some of them are already shot toward Israel. So maybe there are about 1,800 missiles left. And of course, they will not waste all of them on Israel. Every country has to keep some of it to himself. So Iran is in a very low place that they can only use this kind of attack. They don't have Hezbollah, they don't have Hamas almost, and other proxies and other capabilities that they have also in Iraq and other places. We also don't see them attack American bases or any interest. But Israel, actually, when I look in the social media of the Iranians, they say with these words that Israel is controlling Iran's sky. Israel is ruling the western parts of Iran. In 3 days, uh, things happened like they didn't happen in 8 years of war between Iran and Iraq. So the capabilities and the quality of the actions of Israel are so high, so higher from the Iranian ones, then that there, I think there is no doubt that in about 1 week or 10 days, we have to see some change in Iranian policy, because as I said, they are doing only more of the same, only attack us with the missiles. That, yes, unfortunately, they make some casualties, and today was a very bad day. But this cannot bring them any achievement.
Right. I wanted to ask you directly about the people in Iran. What are they saying about these attacks? Are they supportive? And could there be any type of protest against the regime? Tell us what you're hearing. We also did hear initial reports at one point Iranians were trying to flee the country. There were even chants during some of these protests, death to the Ayatollah. Is that what you're hearing as well?
Yes, so there are some small, very small, unfortunately, protests of tens or maybe very few hundreds of people that shout death to Khamenei, or are very happy when Israel attacks Tehran or other cities, but it's not organized. They don't have a leader. This is a problem. But they all the time hail Israel. They know for many years that Israel is an ally for them. Uh, we together can come and get rid of this regime. These are their words. It's not my words. This is what they write in social media. That if we are together, we can get rid of this regime. And yes, maybe there is something right with that thing, that some of the highest ranks of the regime, they are rescuing themselves and going away from Iran. I also saw a few minutes ago that the Russian members of the Russian embassy are getting out of Iran. I don't know how, because there are no planes to take them out, but maybe they have their arrangements. So in with this all this picture, we can see that Iran cannot win this game if some of their closest friends and advisors of Khamenei, of the leader, and other foreigners are that they are allies of Iran. They are going out of Iran, so it says all.
Yeah, so in terms of that, I also want to ask you, just from the Israeli front and what's happening here with these attacks from Iran, why is Israel's Iron Dome missing some of these incoming missiles that are having significant impacts on residential areas? And if Iran does have a greater arsenal, can Israel handle it?
Um, in the technology, there is not such a thing of 100%, and we cannot expect, with all the sorrow, and I say it with a great sorrow, that we cannot expect that these technologies and these systems can stop every missile, because there is not such a thing in our life. So of course, one or two missiles, they will hit some place. We just can wish that they won't hit any other people and any casualties. But this is part of the game. I'm again very sorry to say that, but when we see the quality of the uh, Israeli actions and attacks, that we can hit two floors of one whole building and just hit an Iranian who is very senior or advisor to the leader. So we can understand that if the leadership loses its hands and legs and doesn't have any capability of making decisions, for example, so Iran can fall even in very short term.
Thanks so much for joining us. We're also learning at this time that 14 Iranian nuclear scientists were possibly killed since Friday by Israel. Looks like a new report that could be coming in at this time. But all of these developments will continue to unfold. We really appreciate you joining and being with us today.
Thank you.
So, as we continue to track and monitor the amount of casualties that so many people are experiencing, I believe at this point the number is more than 300 people dealing with injuries from these recent Iranian ballistic missile attacks. ILTV's Mayan Hoffman has a full report of how hospitals are preparing.
Since the start of Iran's retaliatory missile attacks on Israel Friday night, 13 people have been killed, including 10 in the last day, and hundreds more wounded, many still recovering in hospitals, others still missing. According to the health ministry, some 385 individuals arrived at hospitals for treatment overnight, 7 of them in serious condition and 40 more in moderate condition. The latest and deadliest strike hit the coastal city of Bat Yam late Saturday night. A ballistic missile struck a residential building, partially collapsing it and killing 6 people. 2 children aged 8 and 10, an 18-year-old male, and 3 women aged approximately 55, 60, and 80. Nearly 200 others were wounded and several remain unaccounted for beneath the rubble in what authorities are calling a mass casualty event. Rescue teams from the IDF's Homefront Command are continuing operations, warning the search could take days. Police have set up a hotline, 105, for families reporting missing loved ones. In the Arab city of Tamra, a missile struck a 2-story home, killing 4 women from the same family, a mother, her 2 daughters, aged 13 and 20, and another female relative. 11 others were injured. Hospitals across the country are treating the wounded. Wolfson Medical Center received 96 injured last night alone, including a handful in serious condition. Sheba Medical Center reported around 40 patients. Asuta Ashdod, Shamir Asaf Harofeh, and others reported dozens more, some with severe injuries, many suffering from anxiety. The Ministry of Health has instructed the health funds and resilience centers to reinforce mental health support services, allowing those suffering from anxiety to receive help over the phone and avoid going to hospitals unnecessarily.
שוב אנחנו בתקופה של מתח וחוסר ודאות, ימים לא פשוטים. חשוב מאוד במיוחד בתקופה הזאת להיצמד למה שאנחנו מכירים ויודעים ותופסים כבטוח. חשוב שנהיה במקומות שמוכרים לנו, שנדע לאיפה אנחנו צריכים ללכת, אם יש אזעקה או צריך להיכנס למרחב מוגן. ומאוד מאוד חשוב להיצמד לעשייה, לעשות דברים בצורה אקטיבית, לא להיות פסיביים, כי העשייה מזכירה לנו שיש לנו כוח ואנחנו מסוגלים להתמודד.
Thank you, Mayan, for that report. And right now, we are still learning that there is still a search going on for underneath the rubble of some of these locations that experienced Iranian ballistic missile attacks, specifically in Bat Yam. We're reading reports they are still searching for bodies of 2 people inside that rubble. That's a look at the Bat Yam building right there, absolutely demolished. You can just see nearly the entire left side of the building blown out. Just the strength and the force of these ballistic missiles from Iran. Rescue and search volunteers and emergency responders have already told ILTV the force of these bombs is something they have never even seen before, based on the damage. You know, just recently, less than an hour ago, the entire country, nearly central Israel and north, was just under missile attack alert. There were sirens that sounded throughout the country. That marks the first daytime alert that we have received since the Iranian attacks began. There were no reports of injuries or impacts that were made, and it was only several missiles, according to the IDF, that actually came over into Israel. And most of them, all of them, if not, were intercepted. So we are continuing to follow all of the developments happening in Israel in real time. As always, we're always trying to gather all the headlines. Thanks so much for watching. Stay with us for more as everything continues to unfold here.